Good morning, dear students. Now we are going to discuss about enzymes. Enzymes are biocatalysts. An enzyme is a protein. It is produced by living cells, which is highly specific and highly catalytic to its substrate. An enzyme is a protein and which is produced by living cells, which is highly specific and highly catalytic to its substrate. These enzymes are a very important type of macromolecular biocatalyst. So, as I told, enzymes are biocatalysts. So, the enzymes are very important type of macromolecular biocatalyst. Due to the action of enzymes, the chemical reactions in organism can also be carried out efficiently and specifically under mild conditions. Due to the action of enzymes, chemical reactions in organisms can also be carried out efficiently and specifically under mild conditions. Then coming to difference from catalyst. So this as I told, the enzymes are biocatalysts. So this is differing from chemical catalyst. It will not act as exactly chemical catalyst. So what are the differences between these biocatalyst and this chemical catalyst? So that we are going to see now. So like catalyst, the enzymes do not alter the chemical equilibrium point of a reversible reaction, but only the speed of the reaction is changing. So catalyst, catalyst like a catalyst, the enzymes do not alter the chemical equilibrium point of the reversible reaction. So it will not alter the chemical equilibrium point of a reversible reaction, but it will speed up the reaction. Okay, and it will be different from catalyst in being the biological product. Okay, so the chemical catalyst is synthesizing in laboratories. Okay, and this is the biocatalyst is producing from living cells. So that is the one difference. The enzymes are all proteins, and unlike catalysts, it cannot lose independently in a reaction system since they being colloidal in nature and often become damaged or inactivated by the reactions they catalyze. They must be replaced constantly by further synthesis in the body. Unlike catalysts, most individual enzymes are very specific in that they act either on a single or at the most on some structurally related substrate. So these are the differences of enzymes from the catalysts. Coming to the nomenclature, enzymes are generally named according to the reaction they catalyze or by suffixing "ase" after the name of substrate. The International Union of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology developed a nomenclature of enzymes. Each enzyme is described by a sequence of four numbers preceded by EC. That EC denotes enzyme commission and the number of enzyme is called EC number. So here what is EC now? So EC is nothing but that is the enzyme commission. So and the number of the enzyme is called as the EC number. So when classified, each enzyme is assigned the EC number in the form of digit and it is separated by some periods. The first number categorizes the enzyme based on its action. The first enzyme is categorize the enzyme based on its action. Then coming to the nomenclature, the first three numbers represent the class, subclass, and sub-subclass to which an enzyme belongs. And the fourth digit is a serial number to identify the particular enzyme within the subclass. So here, the three numbers, the first three numbers represent the class, subclass, and sub-subclass of the enzyme, and fourth number is the serial number. And the class, subclass, and sub-subclass provide additional information about the reaction classified. For example, in the case of enzyme commission 1, 2, 3, 4, the digits indicate that the enzyme is an oxidoreductase, that is the class 1 as we have discussed. The first one is class, second one is second digit is subclass, and third digit is subclass, and fourth digit is serial number. So, for example, in case of EC1234, the digits indicate that the enzyme is an oxidoreductase class 1, that it acts on aldehyde or oxo group of donor, that is subclass 2, that oxygen is an acceptor, that is the subclass, that will be indicated with the digit number 3, and that it was the fourth enzyme classified in this subclass, that is the serial number. So that is the in these 1, 2, 3, 4 digits, the first one is class, second one is subclass, and third one is subclass, fourth one is serial number. The last printed list of enzymes appeared in the year 1992. Since then, it has been updated and maintained online. Then coming to the nomenclature. So as we have discussed, if it is the EC number 1, 2, 3, 4 means, so EC number stands for denotes enzyme commission, and first digits is the class 1, that is the oxidoreductases, and the second one is subclass, that is the it is acting on the aldehyde or oxo group of donor, and third digit is subclass 3, that is it is the oxygen here, oxygen is an acceptor, and fourth one is serial number, that is the serial number. So fourth enzyme classified in this subclass, so there is the serial number. Then coming to the classification of enzymes, the 7 major classes of enzymes with some important examples from some subclasses are described below. So what are the 7 classes of these enzymes and how they have categorized these enzymes, and what is the classification of these enzymes we are going to see now. So the first one is oxidoreductases, and second one is transferases, and third one is hydrolases, and fourth one is liases or desmolases, and fifth one is isomerases, and sixth one is ligases or synthetases, and seventh one is translocases. So in the first one, we are going to see about oxidoreductases. So oxidoreductases here, oxidoreductases, that is EC1. So this class comprises the enzymes which were earlier called dehydrogenases, oxidases, peroxidases, hydroxylases, and oxygenases. Here, the group, in fact, includes those enzymes which brings about oxidation reduction reactions between two substrates. Here, this is the group of enzymes which brings about oxidation reduction reactions between two substrates. Here, A is one substrate. In this reaction, A is one substrate and B is one substrate. So here, A undergoes reduction and B undergoes oxidation. So this is the oxidoreductase enzymes. These brings about oxidation reduction reactions between two substrates. So that's why it is called as a oxidoreductases. So here the two substrates, that is A and B, between these two substrates, these are catalyzing the oxidation reduction reactions. So now A undergoes reduction and it is it gets converted as a oxidized, and B undergoes oxidation, then it will be coming as a reduced. So that is the A oxidation and B reduction will come. Okay. Then this will catalyze the redox reaction and can be categorized oxidase and reductase. So these enzymes are catalyzing redox reactions. So these can be categorized as oxidases and reductases. More precisely, they catalyze electron transfer reactions in this class. The enzymes catalyzing oxidation reduction of carbon hydroxyl group and C double bond O and CH bond and CH, CH bond NH2 and CH double bond NH group. So these will catalyze the electron transfer reactions in this class of oxidation reduction, in this class of the enzyme catalyzing oxidation reductions of all these groups. Here, alcohol dehydrogenase and acetyl-CoA dehydrogenase and cytochrome oxidase and catalases are the example for this oxidoreductase enzymes. So here, the hydrogen peroxide and another hydrogen peroxide, the two molecules of H2O2 plus H2O2. So hydrogen peroxide and hydrogen peroxide are interacting together. Then it is converting a water and oxygen by the redox reaction. So as we saw, this is the redox oxidation reduction reaction which is catalyzed by the oxidoreductase enzymes, that is this one. So as we discussed earlier, so these will bring oxidation reduction reactions between two substrates. So A is one substrate, B is one substrate, A undergoes reduction and B undergoes oxidation, then we will get a oxidized and reduced form, that is A and B again. So this is the reaction. Then the next one, the transferase engine, transferases. So that is EC2. So here enzyme commission, EC stands for enzyme commission. So the name itself is saying it is the transferases. Transferases means what? It has to transfer. What it is transferring? Some the groups will be transferred. So based on that, the name of the enzymes they are telling that is the transferases. So these transferases enzymes will catalyze the transfer or exchange of certain groups among some substrate. So oxidoreductases, what they have done, so those brings oxidoreductases are the enzymes, those brings oxidation reduction reactions between two substrates. But here the transferases enzymes, this will catalyze the transfer or exchange of certain groups among some substrates. In these or include the enzymes catalyzing the transfer of one carbon groups, aldehydic or ketonic residues and acyl, glycoside, alkyl, phosphorus or sulfur containing groups. This will catalyze these enzymes catalyzing the transfer of one carbon groups like aldehyde groups, ketonic groups, and acyl groups, glycosyl groups, alkyl groups, phosphorus or sulfur containing groups. The choline acetyl transferase and phosphorylase and hexokinase are the enzymes will comes under the category of these transferases. This choline acetyl transferase and phosphorylase and hexokinase is having the capability of transferring of some groups among the substrate. For example, one reaction is there here. So ATP, whenever it is reacted with D-hexose, we will get a ADP and D-hexose-6-phosphate. So this is the glycolytic pathway. Okay. So here, this is the hexose. Only alone hexose is there. Whenever it is reacted with ATP, so here one ATP undergoes hydrolysis, it will release the ADP and phosphate. That released phosphate will add to this D-hexose. Then this D-hexose is converting as a D-hexose-6-phosphate. So here this reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme transferase. So here for the transfer of that phosphate group, there is need of the enzyme, that is the transferase enzyme, and it is transferring that phosphate group from ATP to D-hexose. Then it is converting as a D-hexose-6-phosphate. So here that enzyme is transferring that group to D-hexose, that phosphate to D-hexose. So it is called as a transferase enzyme. So the examples of transferases are choline acetyl transferase, phosphorylase, and hexokinase. So this is a general reaction here. AB, one substrate is there, another substrate is C is there. So here whenever these two gets interacted, then that time what's happening? This AB containing B is transferring to this C substrate. Then the products are coming A plus B C combination. So this is the general reaction. Here also from this AB, here the B is transferring, the B group is transferring and it is joining with this carbon, this joining with this C substrate. Then we are getting the combination of B and C substrate. So this transfer of B group is catalyzed by with the help of this transferase enzyme. Then another one, hydrolases enzymes. So it will be accelerate the hydrolysis of substrate. The name itself is saying hydrolase. It will hydrolyze the substrate. So based on that, the name of the enzyme, the name of particular enzyme came, that is the hydrolase. So these hydrolases are catalyzing the hydrolytic reaction. Okay, so that is this. It will be accelerate the hydrolysis of substrate. These catalyze the hydrolysis of their substrates by adding constituents of these enzymes will catalyze the hydrolysis of their substrates by the addition of constants of water across the bond they split. So by the addition of water, these enzymes are catalyzing the hydrolytic reactions of substrate. The substrates includes which type of substrates undergoes catalysis here, hydrolysis, esters, glycosyl, ether, peptide, and acid anhydrates, and carbon-carbon bonds, halides, and phosphor-nitrogen bonds. So all these substrate undergoes hydrolysis in the presence of hydrolase enzyme. This lipase, beta, galactosidase, arginase, trypsin, pepsin, and plasmin. These are the examples of these hydrolase enzymes. The example here, one reaction is there. So that reaction is L-arginine. Whenever adding to water, so it will be converting as a L-ornithine and urea. So this hydrolase, how it will catalyze the hydrolysis of substrate means by the addition of water molecule to the substrate. So here, this is the L-arginine is the substrate. So here the enzyme hydrolase is adding water molecule to this arginine. Then it is arginine is converting as a ornithine and urea. So this is the hydrolysis. This is the general example. So that is the AB is the substrate. To this we are adding water. Then we will get the AH product and BOH. Then coming to the lyases. So it will promote the removal of a group from substrate to leave a double bond reaction or catalyze its reverse reaction. In this, or include the enzymes acting on carbon-carbon bonds and carbon-oxygen bonds and carbon-nitrogen bonds and carbon-sulfur bonds and carbon-halide bonds. Aldolase and fumarases are the examples for these lyase enzymes. So the first one is here, the L-malate. It is converting in the presence of this lyase enzyme. It is converting as a fumarate and water. Here, so this is the malate. It undergoes, it will be what it is. It will promote the removal of a group from the substrate, right? So by the removal of some groups from this substrate, it is converting as a, this is the L-malate is converting as a fumarate and water. So here this is the general example, that is the AB. So from this A and B is separating and we are getting the product A plus B. So that is the lyases. Then coming to the isomerases. So these are the isomerases are the enzymes. It will be facilitate the conversion of isomers, geometric isomers or optical isomers. Examples are alanine racemase, cis trans isomerase, retinine isomerase, and glucose phosphatase isomerase. The examples are, the reactions are D-glucose 6-phosphate is converting as a D-fructose 6-phosphate in the presence of this isomerase. And all trans retinine is converting as a 11-cis retinine. So in the presence of this isomerase. And ABC is converting as a ACB product. So in the presence of these isomerases enzymes. So these are the isomerases. Then coming to the ligases. So the ligases are the enzymes. These will catalyze the synthesis of two molecular substrates into one molecular compound with the release of energy. These are the enzymes catalyzing the linking together of two compounds utilizing the energy made available due to simultaneous breaking of a pyrophosphate bond in ATP or similar compound. This category includes enzymes catalyzing reactions forming carbon oxygen and carbon sulfur and carbon nitrogen and carbon carbon bonds. Here, the examples are acetyl CoA synthetase and glutamine synthetase and acetyl CoA carboxylase. So the one example for that. So here ATP is reacting with acetate and CoA. It is converting as a adenosine monophosphate, pyrophosphate, and acetyl CoA. So what it is that the ligase enzyme it will catalyze the synthesis of two molecular substrates into one molecular compound with the release of energy. So here it is converting as here ATP. The examples are acetyl CoA synthetase, glutamine synthetase, and acetyl CoA carboxylase. Here how it is converting. This is the ATP is interacting with acetate and CoA. Then it is converting as a adenosine monophosphate and pyrophosphate, and this acetate and CoA will combine. Then we will get a acetyl CoA. So this is the ligase. This is about the ligase enzymes. Then another one, the seventh category, that is the translocases enzymes. These will catalyze the movement of ions or molecules across membranes or their separation within membranes. These reactions is designed as the transfer from side 1 to side 2. The translocases are the most common secretion system in gram-positive bacteria. Translocases of the outer membrane can work in conjunction with the translocase of the inner membrane to transport proteins into the mitochondrion. So this is about the translocase enzymes. This will catalyze the movement of ions or molecules across membrane or their separation within the membrane. How? From where to where it is catalyzing the movement of ions? From outer membrane to from inner membrane. From see the translocase of the outer membrane can work in conjunction with the translocase of the inner membrane to transport proteins into the mitochondrion. So these are transporting to the mitochondrion. Then coming to the enzymes properties. So what are the properties of enzymes? What are the properties of enzymes? That is, these enzymes possess many outstanding characters. So it will be like colloidal nature, and it will be like a catalytic nature, and it will be having a specific nature, and it is having optical, it is having enzyme specificity, and it also having active site. So these all we are going to discuss now. The first one is colloidal nature. So the enzyme molecules are gigant size. The big size will be there. The enzyme molecules are big size will be there. Their molecular weight ranges from 12,000 to over 1 million. There are therefore very large compared with the substrate or functional group they act upon. It has been observed that the molecular weight of many enzymes proved to be approximately an unfold multiple of 17,500, which is found to be an unit in most proteins. One account of their large size, the enzyme molecules process extremely low rates of diffusion and form colloidal system in water. Being colloidal in nature, the enzymes are non-dialysable, although some contain dialysable or dissociable component in the form of coenzyme. As it is the colloidal in nature, the enzymes are non-dialysable, although some contains dialysable or dissociable component in the form of coenzyme. And another one, the catalytic nature or effectiveness of these enzymes. An universal feature of all enzymatic reactions, an universal feature of all enzymatic reactions is the virtual absence of any side products that are recovered as such without undergoing any qualitative or quantitative changes. This is the reason why Why? They, in very small amount, are capable of catalyzing the transformation of a large quantity of substrate. So these are the small amount, but they are catalyzing the transformation of large quantity of the substrate. The calculating potency of enzyme is exceedingly great. The catalytic potency of the enzyme is exceedingly great. Then coming to here, the catalytic nature or the catalytic power of an enzyme is measured by the turnover number or molecular activity. The number of substrate molecules converted into product per unit time when the enzyme is fully saturated with the substrate. So what is the number of substrate molecules converted into product per unit time when the enzyme is fully saturated with substrate. The value of turnover number varies with different enzymes and depends upon the conditions in which the reaction is taking place. However, for most enzymes, the turnover number fall between 1 to 10 power 4 per second. So this is the catalytic nature or effectiveness of the enzyme. And coming to the specificity of the enzyme. With few exceptions, the enzymes are specific in their action. Their specificity lies in the fact that they may act A on one specific type of substrate molecule, these will be specific. On a group of structurally related compounds, these are specific. Only one of two optical isomers of a compound, these will be specific. And one of the two geometrical isomers, these will be specific. So we are going to see different types of specificity here. Accordingly, four patterns of enzyme specificity have been categorized. The first one is absolute specificity. Some enzymes are capable of acting on only one substrate. For example, urease act only on urea to produce ammonia and carbon dioxide. Similarly, carbonic anhydrase brings about the union of carbon dioxide with water to form carbonic acid. So this is the reaction. Water, whenever it is reacting with carbon dioxide in the presence of carbonic anhydrase enzyme, it is converting as a carbonic acid, that is H2CO3. Then another one is group specificity. So that is the absolute specificity and this is the group specificity. Some other enzymes are capable of catalyzing the reactions of a structurally related group of compounds. For example, lactic dehydrogenase, that is the LDH, it will catalyze the interconversion of pyruvic and lactic acid and also a number of other structurally related compounds. The example is pyruvic acid. Whenever it is reacted with NADH and H plus in the presence of lactic dehydrogenase, it is converting as a lactic acid and NAD plus. So this is the group specificity. Then another one, optical specificity. So what is the optical specificity here? The most striking aspect of specificity of enzyme is that a particular enzyme will react with only one of two optical isomers. So for example, arginase act only on arginine and not on its D isomer. Similarly, D-amino acid oxidizes the D-amino acid only to corresponding keto acid. Although the enzymes exhibit optical specificity, some enzymes, however, interconvert the two optical isomers of a compound. For example, alanine racemase catalyzes the interconversion between L and D-alanine. This is the reaction L-alanine in the presence of alanine racemase enzyme. It is converting as a D-alanine. Coming to the geometrical isomerism, some enzymes exhibit specificity towards the cis and transforms of isomers. So those are like fumarase catalyzes the interconversion of fumaric and malic acid. So here the fumaric acid, whenever it undergoes hydrolysis with water, it is converting as a L-malic acid. This is the transform and this is the cis form. It does not react with malic acid, which is the cis isomer of fumaric acid, or with the malic acid. So this is the enzyme, that is the fumarase, catalyzes the interconversion of fumaric and malic acids. So that is the fumaric acid transform, and this is the L-malic acid. And another one, so properties of enzymes. So the degree of specificity of the enzyme per substrate is usually high and sometimes virtually absolute. Proteolytic enzymes catalyze the hydrolysis of a peptide bond, and many proteolytic enzymes like pepsin, trypsin, chymotrypsin, these are the examples of proteolytic enzymes. These enzymes will catalyze a different but related reactions, namely the hydrolysis of an ester bond. These enzymes vary markedly in their degree of specificity. For example, these will be varying in their degree of specificity. For example, substilicin, a bacterial enzyme, it does not discriminate the nature of the side chains adjacent to the peptide bond to cleave. So this is the another enzyme, that is the pepsin. It will be prefers bonds involving the carboxyl and amino group of dicarboxylic and aromatic amino acids respectively. Since the bonds attached are usually located in the interior of the protein substrate, and pepsin is called as endopeptidase. Trypsin likewise is an endopeptidase but is quite specific in that it splits peptide bonds in which carboxylic group is contributed by either lysine or arginine only. And another one enzyme, that is the chymotrypsin. It is preferentially splits peptide bonds in which the carboxyl group is from an aromatic amino acid. And another one, alterations of enzyme specificity. So, the specificity of some enzymes is altered by physiological behavior. The lactose synthetase catalyzes the synthesis of lactose in mammary glands. It consists of a catalytic subunit and a modifier subunit. The catalytic subunit alone cannot synthesize lactose. Instead, it has a different role of catalyzing the attachment of galactose to proteins that contain a covalently linked carbohydrate chain. The modifier subunit alters the specificity of catalytic subunit so that it is links galactose. It will be linking galactose to glucose to form lactose. The level of modifier subunit is under hormonal control. That modifier subunit under hormonal control. During pregnancy, the catalytic subunit is formed in the mammary glands and it is very little modifier subunit is formed. But at the time of childbirth, the hormonal levels change significantly and the modifier subunit is synthesized in great quantities, thus resulting in the production of large amount of lactose. And so this is the galactose, and during pregnancy and during childbirth, during pregnancy, this is the glycoprotein, and here both modifier subunit and this will be joining, then it is forming a more amount of lactose. Catalytic subunit and modifier subunit will be joining and more lactose is forming in this during childbirth. And coming to the active site. So as the substrate molecules are comparatively much smaller than the enzyme molecule, there should be some specific regions or sites on the enzymes for binding with the substrate. So in the enzyme, some specific sites will be there to bind substrate. That sites we will call as active site. So that is this, as the substrate molecules are comparatively much smaller than the enzyme molecule, there should be some specific regions or sites on the enzyme for binding with substrate. Such sites of attachment are variously called as active sites or catalytic sites or substrate site. Active site or catalytic site or substrate site, everything is active site. And coming to the properties of active site, the active site occupies a relatively small portion of the enzyme molecule. The active site is neither a point or nor a line or even a plane but is a three-dimensional entity. It is made up of groups that come from different parts of the linear amino acid sequence. For example, lysozyme has 6 subsites in the active site. The amino acid residue located at the active site are 35, 52, 59, 62, 63, and 107. Usually, the arrangement of atoms in the active site is well defined and resulting in a marked specificity of the enzymes. Although cases are known where the active site changes its configuration in order to bind a substance which is only slightly different in structure from its own substrate. The active site binds to the substrate molecule by relatively weak forces. The active site in the uh, engine molecules are grooves or creams from which water is largely excluded. It contains amino acids such as aspartic acid, glutamic acid, lysine, serine, etc. The side chain groups like carboxylic acid group, amino group, and alcoholic group serve as a catalytic groups in active site. Beside the creates a amino acid microenvironment in which certain polar residues acquire special properties which are essential for catalysis. The active site binds to the substrate molecule relatively weak forces. So, and what are the side chain groups like carboxylic acid group, amino group, and alcoholic group serve as a catalytic groups in active sites. So these are the properties of active site. So now we hear what is enzyme and how the nomenclature of enzyme and what are the differences between biocatalyst and chemical catalyst and nature of enzymes, properties of enzymes, and what are the properties of active site we have discussed. Thank you.